Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are filming my December wrap-up. So as usual, we do have our bingo board. Unlike usual though, I'm not going to go through every single square on this bingo board because we did not read a lot in December. I have two jobs. One of them is a retail job, so obviously December is one of our busiest months. So it's a little tough to get reading in when I'm working all the time. January does have a lot less, I do have a lot less hours with the retail job, though I'm hoping, to swap shifts, pick up some shifts if I can, because your girl still needs money, but I'm still, I'm hoping to get a lot more reading time in December, which I already have, and it's only the 6th of the month. Yeah, so I'm not going to go through every single square, and just take up time when I didn't read for 90% of them. And when I did read, I ended up reading in the what's the word the Read It or Delete It vlog, which won't come out until probably like midway through the month. So if you don't want to be spoiled for that, maybe skip this video. If you want to get some of my vague thoughts, then feel free to hang out. I'm also pretty positive that I'm not going to get a bingo anyway, so we're not really going to, the bingo board isn't going to be really useful in this vlog. We're just going to talk about the books that I finished and what I ended up accomplishing. I didn't end up finishing the December TBR, which is I think the only video that I ended up posting in December, which is fine. One of the things that I did manage to read though was manga, so I only read one volume, but I'm still going to count it because of the limited books that I did read. And I started the first volume of Twisted Wonderland. Twisted Wonderland takes place in a kind of Disney universe, so we're following you, not you as in, but his name is YU, and he's kind of whisked to this magical academy. But he doesn't have any magical powers. He doesn't know how he ended up there, why he ended up there. Technically, he's not allowed to stay because he doesn't have any magic. But, yeah, he ends up staying, and it leads him on this kind of adventure. I gave the first volume 3 stars. I wasn't really sure where it was going. I am intrigued to read more of it. The only thing we really saw Disney here, so this one, I'm pretty sure this whole arc follows more of the Queen of Hearts and her her people, the ones that she reigns over. We didn't actually see the Queen of Hearts. The only Disney thing that we actually saw in here were statues of the villains, and then the Lord of the Hearts house. It's technically Hearts Labule. I don't actually know how to say that. I'm so sorry. But technically he's the one that's really causing problems in this one, and that's who he is. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. It was intriguing. I would like to read more and see where the story goes and takes us, but it wasn't really it wasn't every time I put it down, I didn't necessarily feel oh my god, I want to pick this right back up. Not like some other manga that I have read. I also did read for the Goodreads TBR. Obviously, one of the first ones that I got was A Very Merry Bromance. So A Very Merry Bromance is the last book in the interconnected standalone series Bromance Book Club. The Bromance Book Club is a book club featuring all of these men who are either married or in relationships to women, and they want to better, and they read these books to better understand the women in their lives. And every single book follows a different one of their romances. The first one follows, oh gosh, I forgot his name. Follows our main character from that one and his struggling marriage. He ends up getting pulled up into this book club because he finds out that his wife has been faking it their entire marriage, and they are on the brink of divorce. But of course, the Bromance Book Club comes in handy. The second one follows Mac, who's the starter, like the leader of this book club. He's the one that started the whole thing. And it literally just follows, like, it's one of my favorite romance series. Every single book follows a different character. This one follows, oh gosh, I forget his name now. Colton? Is this Colton's book? I'm pretty sure. He is a country star, and it follows one of actually Mac's exes that we meet in his book and their love story, which is really cute and sweet. This really wasn't my favorite of the whole series. I think it was still Mac's book, but this one was, like, it had some fun Christmassy elements. Wasn't like as Christmassy as I would have liked. I've definitely read some more Christmassy romances, but this one was fun and cute, and definitely a great way to end the series. There is technically supposed to be a novella coming out. I think it was already supposed to be out, but I looked on my Kindle, couldn't find anything. Every time I look up in Google, it says it's not available. So even though it says it's technically out, like, it's not. It's really not. A TBR Vet is another one that I actually own physically. It's one of the ones that I pulled for the Read It or Delete It. And that is Boys of Winter. This is about a hockey team who won the Olympics. And this is definitely one of Benson's books. Like, I don't think I would have picked it up. Don't think I would have heard of it if Benson hadn't already owned it before I moved in. Benson is a huge hockey person, and I like watching the occasional hockey game. We'll go to games every once in a while at TD and just have a really great time. This one was exactly what it sounds like. It is about a hockey team who go to the Olympics and ended up winning the Olympics. And it was a really good, interesting story. There were a lot of names though, so I did kind of get confused, especially since I was listening to the audiobook. There were a lot of people to keep track of. I don't know if I would necessarily read this again. Like, it was cool, it was fun, it was fine for what it was, but not really my kind of story. Honestly, not really my kind of nonfiction story, which is not a bad thing whatsoever. I definitely recommend this to people who love hockey. Like, I think Benson will really enjoy this if they have not read it already. And I am glad that I read it. A book by Talia Hibbert. I am currently making my way through the entire backlist of Talia Hibbert, and I did so this month with A Christmas Story called Wrapped Up in You. This was not my favorite Talia Hibbert. It was kind of a mid-reading month as a whole, like it all the way through. So this one follows two friends who have grown up together. Technically, our male main character is best friends with our female main character's brother, and they're twins. And he was a movie star. He ends up retiring because he really wants to settle down and just kind of step away from the limelight and possibly tell the girl that he has always had a crush on, our female main character, that he loves her and try to win her affection. Now, she has been burned in the past. She just got over a really nasty divorce to a man that has proven time and time again that he doesn't really care about her, doesn't really love her, and she's really scared to commit again, especially to someone that she grew up with, her best friend. And something that I love about Talia Hibbert's books is they feel real, they feel authentic, characters feel like they have their own lives going on outside of this romance. And I think because the book is so short that we didn't really get that with these characters. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the Hollywood side of our male main character. And again, because it's so short, we didn't really get a lot of show of our female main character's past trauma. It was just a lot of this is what happened. It didn't 100% suck me in like a lot of her other stories have. So it did get a 3-star, which is the lowest I've ever rated a Talia Hibbert book, including Highly Suspicious and I'm Fairly Cute, which is one that I was not expecting to like whatsoever. I'm hoping that every other book will get a higher rating, because it is a little disappointing when one of your favorite authors gives you a low rating, isn't it? For the free space, I ended up putting Cultish, which is a nonfiction book about cults. This one I did not give a rating because I do not tend to rate nonfiction unless it's an absolute 5-star. This one I think was a little confused in what it was trying to do, because I think it advertised itself as being about cults in like the general sense, like not just the cults that we know, but also like fan cults and like cult classics and things like that. And I don't think it really knew what it was going to do. I don't think the writing was 100% where it could be. I think it could have used a few more edits. It was okay. Like, I listened to it all the way through, didn't ever really want to DNF it, probably because it was such a short audiobook. Like, I was fine listening to it, but it wasn't truly as impactful and gripping as I think most books of this genre would normally be for me. LGBTQ rep was Indestructible Objects, which I don't know why I went into this thinking it was about I thought it was a middle grade, about a young child with autism. And I don't think I would have picked it up if I knew what it was actually about. It followed our main character, who is in a relationship at the beginning of this, and her partner have a podcast together. Her partner is leaving. He got into this really awesome, really prestigious school, and so he is moving away. And so neither of them think that they can handle being long distance, so they decide to break up. So we open with their very last episode of the podcast. And then she ends up going through this whole kind of identity crisis, where she meets she's kind of going through an identity crisis because she's going through a breakup at the same time that her parents are going through a divorce. So she kind of tries to create her own podcast about her parents and why they got together in the first place, because they are definitely not a match made in heaven whatsoever. And it leads to some self-discovery in her, and it leads to some answers to questions that she's had pretty much her whole life. It was an interesting story. I think there were a lot of things going on. Meanwhile, we were trying to push this idea of like a relationship, because she is starting to fall for this other girl, during this, and it becomes a lot. I would much rather have had the focus be on her parents and the love story of their parents and how they ended up getting together, like literally just following the podcast element. It kind of just tried to do a little bit too much. Whenever a book or a series starts to do this, I immediately compare it to Spider-Man 3. Because in Spider-Man 3, it's probably one of my least favorite movies in the Spider-Man franchise, because it tried to do so many things at a time and it could never focus on a single aspect of the movie. Like, there were just too many moving parts. And I think that is what this book was. It just had too many moving pieces, and we weren't really focused on the central plot of the story. And that is one of my main issues with YA in general, is they always have to throw in a romance in there, and sometimes it's so unneeded and so unnecessary. Like, let's just let our main character figure out their own life without thrusting in a romance. Like, I know teens I was a teen, obviously, and when I was a teen, I don't remember like being in out of a relationship for longer than like a month, so I get it. But at the same time, it's like there are some YA books where kids are discovering magical powers and we're trying to throw in a romance in there. not every single YA needs a romance. Sometimes they just need to figure out themselves, and that is okay. Okay, so those are all of the books that I read in the month. As far as the non-bookish prompts, I only finished 2. So as of the movies, I counted the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy, because that is what I read or watched in December, for the first time anyway. Which, if you want to hear my thoughts on, you're going to have to go check out the Catch-Up Corner. I always link that down in the description box below. It is the podcast where me and my fiance talk about exactly that, new media that that I mainly am catching up on. And this month was Star Wars, so we did a lot of, both months, December and January, is Star Wars. So we watched the sequel trilogy, which I had some interesting thoughts on. And TV show, we watched another Star Wars TV show. This time I'll talk about Ewoks. So in that one, we watched Ewoks and Droids, which are 80s cartoon classics that were interesting. So we probably have our shortest episode ever on both of these. So you have to go check out exactly what I thought of that if you are interested in hearing my thoughts. So with all of that being said, this is what our bingo board looks like. As predicted, I did not get a bingo. I didn't think I would get a bingo. I'm okay with not getting a bingo. As much as it does suck, it's fine. So when we left off, I did have 1 pin on my points board, because if you don't know, the reason we do bingo is for every single bingo I get 1 point that I can use towards buying books. I did buy a book. It's all the way on the other side of the room, and I don't want to get out of my corner right now, so I ended up buying How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, because I found it secondhand. And it's one that I've been wanting to read since I heard it was coming out. And this year, the sequel actually came out, called Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, which I also really want to read. But I'll get that probably next year. I didn't end up reading it. Like, I did start it, but I just didn't end up finishing it before Christmas, so I wasn't able to count it for our recent purchase square, which is fine. So I did end up reading 1, so we can take that point away. And we just don't have any tokens to buy anything in January, which is fine. We have already bought books in January, but we used a gift card, so those don't count towards my point system. We don't use points on anything that we used a gift card for, unless, of course, I happen to purchase the gift card myself, which, like, I wouldn't. I would never do, not to break the rules. But if somebody has gifted me a gift card and I happen to use that to buy books, then we don't count that towards the point system. So it's fine. I am hoping we are already starting off at a better reading month. So I am hoping that we'll be able to buy some more books in February. Because as much as I love, am interested in the books that are on my shelves, I'm also craving some fun new things for our shelves. Alright, let me know how your reading went in December. Did you read a whole ton? Or did you kind of have a little bit of a laid-back reading month? Oh, also, what books did you get for Christmas if you celebrate, or any other holiday if you celebrate? Or let me know, your favorite Christmas tradition. Just let me know something in the comments below that we can talk about and have a great time discussing. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me, as well as Benson, who's a frequent member on this channel. I will leave all of their links down in the description box below, as well as links to my social media if you want to get any more updates from me. But until then, goodbye.